All right, number 68, episode number 68. All right, back episode 28, I made a video where I finally gave in and I decided to, after years and years, decided to send cards to PSA. So back in early March, I was talking to my friend Paul, who knew a group submitter, and finally found about 10 to 12 cards that I was willing to submit. Cards that I knew were safe, that if it took 8 months to get the cards back, I knew they'd still be relevant. So I picked players like Dirk Nowitzki and Allen Iverson, Luka Doncic. I picked safe players. That's how I kind of think about the hobby. I think of safe. So I think I gave Paul the cards in the middle of March. He brought the cards to Mankato, so he drove 2 hours away, someone that he knew. And they were just waiting for the group submitter to get enough cards to submit. Didn't get it in on time. So I think, what was it, April 1st maybe, was when PSA made the PSA about stopping submissions, except for the Super Express, so I just missed out. So I'm pretty sure my cards are still in Mankato. I'm not too worried about them. I know they're in good hands. I'm not too worried about them. But so that was way back in episode 28. I made the video in March. The PSA is supposed to open up again July 1st, so it's coming up. When I made the video, I said that if I sold all the raw cards for $2,000, so all the cards would be about $2,000. Because that was the very height of the market. So looking back, it's easy for me to say, well, maybe I should have just sold them raw. Because now I think raw, I could probably get about $1,000 for them. I think the cards that I submitted were really hot at that time. So looking back, it might have made sense to sell, but you couldn't really predict that PSA would close. Some might have, I guess, but I wasn't thinking about that. But if I am patient and I wait a year, let's say if it opens up in July, August, September, takes 8 months, still in a year from now, I'll still like my Dirk Nowitzki Chrome PSA graded card. I'll still like my Allen Iverson Sky Date 2000, I think it is. So I'll still like those. It was a select Doncic, optic Doncic. So if it's a year from now, I know I can get more than $1,000. But when I calculated it out, I could have got about $2,000 if I would have chose to sell them raw. Now I think it would sell for about $1,000 raw. Because the market's changed. It's changed big time in about 2.5 months. So as soon as I sent those in the mail, I decided to start making a stack of ones that for the next round I wanted to submit. So I have 18 cards here that I felt were pretty close to that mint grade, maybe gem mint grade. But if they were good enough where I saw one YouTuber say, if you can't find any flaws with it in 10 seconds, it's a good candidate for gem mint or a mint. So I've kind of used that. So all of these were pretty decent. They're good. So some of these are kind of rare, some are not so rare, but in good condition. Cards that I would gladly hold on to for a long time. So 18 cards that if PSA didn't stop what they were doing, I probably would have submitted those last month. But now I'm trying to decide, am I patient? Do I submit these like in August, September? Do I sell them raw? If I sell them at my eBay store, do I say great grading candidates? I mean, these are ones I would have sent in, so I'm really happy with the condition. Or do I try something with a different grading company? The SGC, HGA. Or do I just keep them forever and ever and just hoard them and never sell them? I don't know. What would you do? All right, so I'm going to share with you the 18 cards that would have been in the hands of PSA last month if they didn't close. So I have 2 SP Kobe's, I'm gonna try to remember where I got these. So one of these I got from the guy from Wisconsin I've talked about before. And one of them I bought on eBay for I think $30 raw. Great shape. These are super duper hard to grade, but they're in good condition. So there's like no chipping. The only thing I don't know, I haven't spent time looking at centering. I'm sure the lines there, you can see little white lines on the blue. You could probably count those up if you look at examples on eBay. But I would say both of those are solid 9s. I don't think right now they would do gem mint or they'd go for a 10 on PSA. Maybe 3 years ago it might have been a PSA 10, but it's hard to say. So 2 SP rookies. These were always undervalued when I was a kid. I always assumed that these, or always thought these should be way above tops. So, and I'm seeing some market correction with tops, which in previous videos I've talked about that. The tops cards for Kobe should not be that high. These are both additionally from the guy from Wisconsin. This is such an undervalued set. So when I was in 6th grade, 96, 97 Fleer came out. So Lucky 13, these were not directly in packs. You had to get a redemption card and send these in. So for me, when I saw the price of a 10 of this and a price of tops, it just did not make sense. This is so much more rare than the tops, flagship tops. So these two, condition-wise, I don't know. I would say an 8 for the Kobe. I see some little chipping on the side. I think the Iverson's in better shape. So if I just had to guess, I would say an 8 for the Kobe, 9 for the Allen Iverson. Next up, same guy. These were actually raw for about 80 bucks not too long ago. I bought Market Movers and I looked on Market Movers last night and these are only $25 now. So these have gone down tremendously. Metal. This one I got from my friend Paul, and his cards are always in nice shape. This is a 9. This is a solid 9. You see a lot of chipping and a lot of corner wear on Metal Universe cards. And obviously I look at surface. I mean, I would pull it out and look at surface. There might be scratches, but knowing the owners, I'm not as concerned with scratches at first look. So I would say a 9 for this. And a 9, PSA 9 Metal, I'm sure it's gotta be maybe close to 200, 150. This is what I bought raw on eBay. Dwayne Wade rookie. I've been targeting a lot of Dwayne Wade cards. This is Upper Deck Standing O. When I saw this on eBay, I think it was from like Hoodies maybe. It was a consignment place, combined shipping. I think I paid 20 bucks for it. Let's say an 8 or a 9. This one is, I didn't realize how much these were actually going for. So this is a gold variation, one away from his jersey number. So it's number 33 of 100. These raw went for like 150, which was shocking. A lot of the numbered parallels and inserts from the 90s were up a lot. I'm sure it's come down a lot since February and March. I would say with this just being a rare card, I wouldn't expect a 9 or 10. Probably an 8. I see some chipping. It's an 8 for that. Next up, Topps Shaq. I can't remember where I got this one from. The Shaq rookies that I sold on eBay in March, I don't think any of them were in this good condition. So that one might be a 9. You can see a little, well, centering doesn't look too bad. Maybe this side is a little bigger. It's not much though. I would say a PSA 9 for that. Actually we'll do one last basketball and then move into baseball. What an interesting insert this was. I didn't realize how rare it was until I looked at comps and then did a little more investigating. So it's a insert from 98-99 Series 2 Skybox. It's called That's Jam. Like Smuckers. When I looked at comps for this, at the peak, it was hundreds of dollars. There's like $300 or $400 for this card. And there was some PSA graded ones, like a PSA 9 or a 10. They were going for like $5,000, like massive numbers. I don't know. It is one of the most unique cards. That's Jam. See-through? I don't know. I tried looking at what centering looks like, and I honestly couldn't find a flaw on this. Oh man. I haven't looked at comps in 2 months since I found it. But let's say a scenario where this Gems Mint 10, we're talking multi-$1,000 card. I really wish they would have done the print run here. Because for being that expensive, and they don't come around too often, this has to be a short printed. We'll see. I don't know. All right, other one. I sold one of those, what was it, in BGS 9.5 for $515. Looking at these, you can tell this one is off-centered. Not by much, but. So these were in the Topps traded set. Ooh, this one's got a rough corner. Down there. It's unfortunate. So I started a pile, and I wouldn't have submitted this one. Looking at closer. This one would kind of squeeze in there like a PSA 7, which wouldn't be worth it. This one could get an 8, 9, so 7, and then 8 or 9. I love anything in the Marlins uniform. Autograph game jerseys, refractors, early cards. I just love that teal. I just love those. So anytime that I can find Miguel Cabrera in early years, I look for those. Mookie, you know, I just bought a Mookie. Here's the first Bowman First Chrome. This is one where I buy so many collections that I remember when I found this probably 4 years ago, just in a box, no sleeve. That's what happens when you have first Bowman. It takes years to increase in value. So this was 2014, drafted in 2011, and his first Bowman wasn't until 2014. That seems odd. Huh. I guess I knew his first Bowman and Topps traded were the same year, but I never really thought about it. Because usually the first Bowman is like 2 years ahead of the update. Interesting. How did I not know this? So he should have had like a first Bowman like in 11 and 12. Wonder why that is. All right, so Mookie. Here is the Topps traded. So a PSA 9 that I had sold for about $300. I don't think these corners look completely sharp. So let's say maybe a PSA 8. This is one where I bought from, I went to the card show, garage sale, maybe a month and a half ago, and I spent $400. I bought a big collection from him last summer. He had a card show, and it was towards the end, and I said, how much do you want for everything in your garage? He was like, I'm not gonna sell everything. Well, how much would you do? I just kept the conversation going. I gave him a number. I kind of just said, this table, I'm looking at this table, this box, and the cards in the glass case. I just kind of broke it apart there. It's like, do you want to sell any pieces of that? So I just said, do you want to make the deal? Because as I said that, a lot of people were taking cards out and buying it, and I saw a couple cards that I wanted kind of go away. So I was like, well, I think I said I could do 600 or 700. And he said, no, I'm gonna see how the rest of the day goes. All right. And I went home. I didn't really, I got plenty of ways I can get cards, or I was like, well, I think it's fair. Whenever I think of buying big collections, I don't spend a lot of time negotiating. I could have said 400 to start with, and he could have said 1,000, and we could have settled in a number, but I usually scan the collection, think of a number where I can double my money if I put in the work, and then I just kind of go with it. So this was probably the most valuable card in there. These, between 50 and 150, it just depends on the condition for raw. But being a numbered Albert Pujols rookie, issued by Upper Deck, I just found that really cool. So this was the big reason I was interested in it. When he came over, we didn't talk about this card, I just saw it in the case, and it was kind of just part of the deal. He said, there is one card that I really, really want to keep for my PC, and I'm like, one card, that's fine. What card are you thinking? The Albert Pujols? I'm like, dang it, that's the best card in there. I was trying to, so I said, well, I can't give you that card. Because I mean, if it was like a $15 card, I would have given it to him, but the card that he wanted for his PC was the most valuable. But I think he said the story of those cards, where I think it was a friend of his was hit by COVID pretty hard, and I think maybe the husband was in the hospital here in Mayo Clinic, and then his wife was not doing so good either, so they needed some money at that moment. So I think he, as a favor, as a friend, was doing the garage sale for him. So these were his cards. So he said instead of bringing it back to his storage facility, he said that it just made sense to make the deal at that point. So he ended up calling me and said, well, what if I were to bring those cards to your house, would you still do this 700? I said, sure, because I had $1,000 in my pocket, because I was ready to make a deal. So I had the cash, and I said, yep, sure, I'll be home. Here's my address. And the first thing he said was, sorry I made you mad. I'm like, no, I wasn't mad. I just had a number, and if you didn't want it, I was gonna head home. Got 3 kids I gotta watch, so it's all good. So I like that. I've been targeting a bunch of Pujols cards. I just haven't won them yet. And the last 3 were from my friend Paul. We have 2 Mike Trout cards and a Bryce Harper. So first one, Bryce Harper. This one probably is a 9 centering, but no surface scratches. Corners, edges look great. Maybe the centering right to left would get it a 9, but this would look great all slabbed up. The last 2 are Mike Trout, and they're both from 2012. One is an Allen and Ginther mini rookie Mike Trout. So he had the 2011 update, but a lot of his rookies were the next year. So I like these because it has his rookie stats. So when he played in 2011 for a little bit, only batted .220, but he was a free agent, signed as a free agent in January 28th, 2011. All right, so Mike Trout, finest. That one was in perfect condition. I saw nothing. This is one that I actually used the microscope that my friend got me, and I saw nothing wrong with this. So being a finest card, kind of like Prism and Optic, you can usually, they hold up pretty good. So I could see this one going for a PSA 10. And the other Mike Trout, I couldn't find anything wrong with that one as well. I haven't looked at eBay comps, but 2012 finest PSA 10 Mike Trout, Allen and Ginther 12 mini. Definitely a chance at the 12s, and that's probably the only ones I would be confident or have some hopes with. Condition-wise, I don't see much wrong with this, but yeah. So I guess this is gonna be my new thing, is at the end of the video, I'm just gonna pose for a silly picture. All right, here we go. So these are my favorite 4. I kind of feel like I want to question, like a pose, like, what should I do? Let's hold it like this. Here, like that, okay. Maybe I gotta put a light bulb on top of my head. Like, what should I do? Okay, that's good. So PSA, HGA, SGC, sell them raw, keep them raw. That's the question. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know what I should do.